Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I am Chad Lyons, and I'm joined by my wife, Megan, and we run Epoet Digital Services. We've spent a lot of time talking about how to help people find your site. One thing we haven't discussed is what part of your site they should actually be led to. You never, ever, ever want to lead your traffic to your homepage. I know we mentioned that earlier, but it's worth reiterating. You see, there are actually two types of web pages that you have. Your main website, where you have your homepage, services, about us, and contact pages, has their purpose. That purpose is so that those who are already familiar with your organization can learn more about you at their leisure. However, your main website is not, and should not be, optimized as part of your sales funnel. That's simply not its purpose. The other type of web page is your landing page. These pages are specifically crafted to guide leads from a specific campaign through the sales process. You should have as many landing pages as you have campaigns. Your Google ads, Facebook ads, etc. should all be linking to a specific landing page. Let me reiterate, this is not your main website. Too many times I've seen doctors tell me, we have a beautiful new landing page. We're using SEO, AdWords, Facebook ads, etc., but we're just not getting the results. People click on the ads and then they just leave the site. Then I go in and take a look. And sure enough, the page is beautiful, but it's not a landing page. It's their homepage. Users are going there, not sure what they're supposed to do next, and then leaving. If there's one thing to take away from this video, it's do not use your homepage as your landing page. It's simply not effective.
Now doing that, designing your landing pages in such a way to guide the visitor through the sales funnel, is known as conversion rate optimization. There are 3 principles of conversion that we're going to cover, and then we'll talk about the core elements of the landing page.
The first principle is the content of your website. I know what you're thinking. Oh great, content, here we go again. However, in addition to strong copywriting, it really is vital that you have genuinely valuable content. This content should attract and reward your visitors. This content is your unique sales proposition, and it should be used to create the curiosity, need, or desire for your product or service. For example, you might offer a high-value downloadable or a free consultation in exchange for the visitor's contact information.
The second is design. There are really 2 parts of design. There's the aesthetic, or how pleasing the design is to the eye, and there's the conversion optimization. Although you want your landing pages to look nice, what you really want is for it to have a high conversion rate. We'll dig a little deeper into that in just a minute.
And lastly, we'll talk about testing. So much of marketing is about experimentation. Nobody gets it completely right on the first try. Instead, you do your market research. Then you throw your marketing out there and see what performs. Testing, and even more testing is what helps us optimize and find what really works.
Now your landing page should have just a few elements. First is what we call the hero spot. This is where the user's eye will usually land first, and this is where your most impactful message should be. Usually this is located on the upper left-hand side of your page. It should be bold, it should be beautiful, and it should immediately grab the visitor's attention. Second is your lead form or presentation. That could be a contact form, an appointment form, consultation, etc. But this is where 1, you deliver on the promise that you made in your ad, and 2, where the patient provides you with information you need to move them into the next step. Third is your content. A lot of people are going to reach your landing page out of curiosity. Your content is where you make the sale. I recommend sticking to bullet points that highlight the benefits of your service. If necessary, you can use short paragraphs, but this is not the place for long copywriting. Finally, you have your call to action. This is the book an appointment or schedule a free consultation button that you'll have beneath your form.
Another thing to understand about designing your landing page is what goes above the fold and what goes below. The fold, if you don't know, is the scroll point. So when you visit a website, there's the stuff that you can see automatically when the site first loads. That's above the fold. Then you can scroll down to see more content. Anything that you have to scroll down to see is below the fold. Typically, you want to have at least your hero spot and presentation above the fold. However, if you find that most of your visitors are curious and not ready to buy, Well, first off, you may want to adjust your ad to make sure that they're truly relevant. But you can also try moving the content portion above the fold and see if that increases your conversion rate at all.
The last thing I want to talk about in terms of design is what's called information sent. Basically, this means that your message or your offer is consistent from the beginning of the sales funnel to the very end. For example, if your Facebook ad advertises 25% off, then each and every page the user visits should reiterate 25% off until they've booked an appointment. It should be that way with everything. The message you convey, the style in which you do it, your writing, your imagery, it should remain consistent throughout the entire process. That's one of the main problems with using your homepage as a landing page. It's completely inconsistent. Your visitor should never stop and wonder, wait, how'd I get here?
Okay, so we've talked about content and we've talked about design. Let's move on to testing. There are two types of testing that we're going to talk about. The first is improvement testing, which is basically testing various versions of an ad to see which performs better. The second is heuristic testing. This is similar to quality assurance. It basically means testing your sales funnel to ensure that it adheres to some of the best practices that we've gone over today.
There are two ways to go about improvement testing. The first is to do an A and B test. This is where you run two ads or use two different landing pages with only one single element different between the two. For example, it could be the headline. Then you see which one performs better. If there's a large margin, then you know that one version is much more effective than the other. I really recommend doing A/B testing constantly. You should always have at least two ads active at any given time, and constant testing means constant improvement. The other kind is multivariate testing. This is similar to A/B testing, except that with multivariate testing, you're changing several things. For example, using two completely different landing pages. This is a good way to test different concepts rather than specific elements.
Heuristic testing is not going to give you the same concrete metrics as improvement testing. However, it can be done quicker and can be used to test different things. For example, you can do an observational test, which is where you have an individual go through your funnel, from clicking the ad to scheduling a consultation. During this process you can watch, but you wouldn't want to interfere at all. You want to watch where they get hung up, any issues they run into, or any distractions they have. You can then use that observation to streamline the experience. You can also do persona evaluation. This is where you create a fictitious person, i.e. your ideal patient, with a detailed background and specific needs and goals. Then you walk through your funnel and ask, is this relevant to the person? Are there questions or objections that this person would have at this point that I'm not addressing? Heuristic testing can be a great way to tease out issues that wouldn't be obvious otherwise. If there's anything you'd like to learn more about, anything that you feel like maybe we didn't go deep enough or even overlooked, please reach out to us. And of course, if you feel like we can help you in your online marketing efforts, we would love to hear from you. You can reach us at hello@epoet.com or via the links below. Take care.